trying to lose, man.
Paradise can be deceiving. A series of volcanic eruptions created these island pearls of the Pacific. And tonight in Hawaii, this beautiful setting is getting ready for another explosion. X-1 Extreme Fighting comes to HDNET. Hello everyone and welcome to Friday Fight Night on HDNET. X-1 Extreme Fighting coming up this evening. I'm Kenny Rice along with Ron Kruk, and if you've been hungry for the mixed martial arts, we do have a luau for you. Coming from Hawaii, Ron, yeah, I had to throw that in. But coming from Hawaii, we are going to see fighters certainly well known in the Pacific region. They are introduced to the rest of the country tonight as they make their HDNET debut.
We have 5 solid fights, Kenny, including a main event where the entire island may erupt. It features Cabbage, Correira, and Chris Marez. With over 30 professional fights, Cabbage Correira has been in the ring or the cage with some of the sport's best, including Tim Sylvia and Andre Arlovsky. His opponent is a tough fighter from Texas, Chris Monster Marez. Marez is a Vale Tudo fighter, which in Brazil means anything goes. He's got a great opportunity tonight to instantly make a name for himself in the sport with a win over Cabbage.
At the other end of the scale, we will begin with lightweights tonight. Kaipo Gonzalez is going up against Paco Woods.
Paco Woods, his fight game has evolved dramatically since he began training with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist BJ Penn and his school. Meanwhile, Kaipo Gonzalez is an aggressive stand-up fighter who loves to throw bombs. Kenny, both these fighters are trying to establish themselves in the lightweight division.
The action taking place at the Blaisdell Arena on the campus of the University of Hawaii as the fighters make their way to the ring. Let's take a look now at the tail of the tape.
Kaipo Gonzalez, a freestyle fighter with a 3-2 record, very aggressive stand-up type of fighter. Paco Woods, 3-3, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist.
Here's Bruce Buffer to introduce them.
Aloha! Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii, where tonight X1 World Events presents Extreme Fighting 2. And now it's time to begin our first bout of the evening. 3 3-minute rounds of fighting under mixed martial arts rules. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 3 wins with 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 149.5 pounds. Fighting out of Hilo, Hawaii, representing BJ Penn MMA, Paco Woods. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 3 wins with 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 154 pounds. Fighting out of Kailua, Hawaii, representing Team MMAD, Kaipo Gonzalez. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the ring is Stephen Miyamoto.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the back. With a good, clean fight, be my commands at all times. Touch gloves, go back to your corners, come up fight.
And here we go. It is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. The MMA rules, a fighter can win by a form of knockout, submission, or a decision of the 3 judges at ringside, a 10-point must scoring system.
Being an aggressive stand-up fighter, Kaipo Gonzalez might want to turn this fight into a brawl, Kenny, where Paco Woods, training with the name BJ Penn in that school, he's going to want to get this fight to the mat as soon as he can.
And this fight is underway. X1 Extreme Fighting here on HDNET.
Woods with a nice low kick.
Woods has a slight, about a 2-inch height advantage, maybe just a little bit of a reach advantage over Gonzalez, which would be great if Woods were the stand-up fighter of the 2.
Well put. Unloads a right there that just misses connecting with Gonzalez. We don't know much about Paco Woods' stand-up game, but right now he seems to be very comfortable.
Yes, he does. Nice footwork, nice form at the moment. And he shoots in, trying to take down Gonzalez. He picks him up and slams him, and here it is, Paco Woods setting the tone early. He is a ground specialist.
Executing his game plan to perfection, Kenny. Waiting for his time, shoots in, and gets Gonzalez to the mat. Now let's see what he can do from here. Gonzalez trying to capture his neck in a guillotine. He just didn't have it there as Paco Woods escapes and now lands some rights.
We'll see what Woods can do here. Remember, with that strong jiu-jitsu background that he has, you would look somewhere along the line perhaps at a guillotine or an arm bar of some kind.
Working from the mount now. Position he's very comfortable with. We'll see how Gonzalez deals with this. He's not used to fighting from his back. As Woods tries to stand up. Now look out, he might try to load and drop some bombs.
Woods looking for that leverage. Looking to get those shots in like that one.
He's got to be careful of an up kick as he tries to land a right as he's measuring Gonzalez up, and those are getting through.
Right now it's Paco Woods. He is the ground specialist, but he's the one doing the punching here. And he just pitches aside the legs of Gonzalez and comes back at him. Well, Gonzalez didn't show a lot of leg movement there.
Not at all, and Woods is very comfortable with keeping this fight in the corner there. Not giving Gonzalez a lot of room to maneuver or work his way out. Gonzalez has got to get out of this position and get this fight standing up.
Woods with 6 fights overall professionally. Gonzalez with 5, but right now Woods is the one that looks like he has much more experience, as once again he tries to stand up and measure his opponent, and he tosses the legs away whenever he wants and gets right back down on the ground.
Under 20 to go, and this first round was all Paco Woods.
Paco Woods came out early, less than 30 seconds in. He shoots in, takes down Gonzalez. That's where Gonzalez has been the rest of the way, on his back in this first round, as round 1 comes to an end. And there it is, Ron, as we take a look at Paco Woods.
He waited and then saw where he wanted to shoot in, executed it to perfection, took Gonzalez down, and then here just measuring up. And he really hasn't done anything to try to stop that right now.
As we get ready for round 2, again scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Gonzalez in the black and gold print, Woods in the red.
We'll see, Kenny, as round 2 gets underway, if Gonzalez tries to keep this fight standing up, more aggressive, maybe work some kicks in, because he really didn't even do that in the first round. And just as I say that, Woods attempts a low kick.
Well, you wonder about Gonzalez if he's going to be able to get in close at all to try to land any punches. So far in the first round, no jabs. He wasn't even close enough to throw a good jab, much less try to follow with any kind of combination.
You're right. He's got to get closer to Woods and begin to work. There's a jab attempt there, but nothing landing right now.
Kind of flicks it out there a little bit. Woods once again shooting in, trying for the takedown. Better defense this time by Gonzalez, who's against the ropes. And that trip did not work either. So still on his feet is Gonzalez, but he's backed into the corner.
And that's where Woods likes to operate. He keeps his opponent in the corner. They don't have a lot of maneuver room, and he'll work, as you see, he tries to work on the legs to take Gonzalez down.
Gonzalez able to keep his feet, but he takes a knee there.
This is where Gonzalez in the clinch needs to start to just drop some bombs. Woods throwing some knees now and goes for a takedown. Gonzalez is just, he's not doing much, Kenny. He really needs to work just some short shots and start to work on Woods any way he can. He's not even being aggressive.
And Woods with the trip,
Boom.
and yet another takedown of Gonzalez. So Woods, Ron, is back where he wants to be, in control of this fight, and he has the fight back on the mat.
Beginning to use the forearm now is Paco Woods. And if those keep getting through, they're going to leave a mark. There's no doubt about it. And you look at Paco Woods, He loves to fight from this mount position, the full mount position, and he's being very active here. Even those short little shots to the side, to the body, will begin to take their toll.
And you have to wonder right now how much experience Kaipo Gonzalez has fighting out of his guard. Naturally, we talked about it. He's the stand-up fighter. That was the contrast of this fight. He has not been able to stand up and throw any kind of punches. He's not been able to actually even do it defensively here in this first round plus with 20 seconds to go down the second round. The punches are being thrown by the guy who's the jiu-jitsu specialist, Paco Woods, who's on top.
And although he hasn't landed the big bomb, the short elbows and forearms are getting through and scoring points.
That was a good forearm. More points added up on the tally of Paco Woods as we near the end of this second round. A round that comes to an end much like the first round did, with Paco Woods in control of the ground game against Kaipo Gonzalez.
You see the single leg takedown right there, and then these forearms begin to take their toll. They're getting through Gonzalez's defense. And again, Gonzalez, oh, there you go. That one landed. Gonzalez really just holding on for dear life at that point.
As we get ready for this third and final round.
Well, at this point, Gonzalez really hasn't scored anything these first two rounds.
And he better come out and land a couple early on in this third round, because it's hard to imagine him being ahead on any judge's scorecard.
I agree with that. Let's see if he tries to get in close where he can start to work some combinations or jabs. There's an attempt, just not landed. And Kenny, at this point, I'm pretty impressed with Woods' stand-up. He's avoiding anything that Gonzalez has to throw at him, and again, goes right back into the takedown and has Gonzalez to the ground.
And once again, Paco Woods, if you've just joined us here on Friday Fight Night on HDNET, this looks a lot like the first round, and the second round is what you're seeing here in the third round.
This is not a replay at this point. Paco Woods has just stuck to what he wanted to do in this fight, take it to the ground and go to work. Now we'll see if the referee stops this as Gonzalez is sliding under the rope. You cannot grab onto the ropes to better your position, but he gets back into the ring.
Stephen Miyamoto, the referee, looking closely as Gonzalez, again, you see his head sliding on the ropes. I think Paco Woods pulled him back into play.
He's not done with him yet. He's got a little more work to do.
Interesting, Ron, you were talking about how comfortable Woods looked standing up, and you figure with the jiu-jitsu background, he would have tried for some submissions here, some kind of choke or arm bar, but instead he's been content to throw his punches.
Striking and landing with the forearms, some elbows. We see a guillotine attempt by Gonzalez, but he doesn't have it. Doesn't have it locked in, and continues to take a beating from Woods right now. And there we go. The referee had to call a timeout. Gonzalez was halfway out of the ring.
So they will relocate towards the center of the ring for the final minutes of this fight. 1:07 to go in a fight that has belonged to Paco Woods.
Wow, his forearms have gotten through the defense of Kaipo Gonzalez all fight long. And I just don't think Gonzalez has the experience of fighting from his back.
And it is shown throughout this fight. Meanwhile, Woods is content to work on his ground and pound game. I don't know if that was his plan coming into this, but he has not tried for any kind of guillotine or arm bar or knee bar, anything that you would expect from a guy who has been training hard with BJ Penn and is into jiu-jitsu so much that he's already won a regional championship.
But when you're landing forearms like that and really there's no defense from Gonzalez at this point, why not keep working it? Do what is getting through and scoring points, and just a dominating performance right now by Paco Woods.
Under 10 seconds to go, this fight is going to end the way it's been at least 90% of the way. Early in the first round, Woods was able to get it on the ground, did the same in the second, did the same in the third. An impressive, strong performance here by Paco Woods over Kaipo Gonzalez. It goes the distance. It will go to the judges to make the decision. I would have to guess, Ron, that Paco Woods takes all 3 rounds here.
I'd be very surprised if he didn't, as we take a look at some of the forearms that continually got through of Gonzalez's defense. Woods, the more aggressive, more active fighter, but you're right, Kenny. You know, he had some opportunities to work the arm or maybe a leg, and he didn't. He felt like he just wanted to keep striking. He was scoring points with it and stuck with it.
Paco Woods 3-3 coming in. Gonzalez 3-2 coming in. First time they've met.
An entertaining fight to start the evening off, but a dominating one by Paco Woods.
Well, we'll be surprised if Woods doesn't take all 3 rounds in this.
Absolutely.
Again, he was the one setting the tempo. He was the one throwing the punches. Let's go to Bruce with the official announcement now from the judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of fighting, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, Paco Woods.
30-26, dominating performance by Paco Woods. So Gonzalez and Woods, contrasting styles, and it worked that way. A hard-fought going the distance to get the decision.
Well, Paco Woods looked very impressive and has definitely benefited from training with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist BJ Penn.
Well, you're going to hear the name BJ Penn because coming up again, another Penn fighter is getting ready to take on another freestyle fighter. Again, it's lightweights matched up. David Moreno against David Padilla. Let's take a look now at the tail of the tape.
Dirty Dave Moreno, the self-proclaimed sexiest man in the 145-pound division. Alrighty then, taking on David Padilla, who comes in with a record of 6-10.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout consists of 3 3-minute rounds. Our sponsors for this contest are Centrally Yours, Spray Liner, Dish Network, and HDNET. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 4 wins with 2 losses and 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Kohala, Hawaii, Dirty Dave Moreno. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 6 wins with 10 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Waipahu, Hawaii, David the Tan Superman Padilla. And when the action begins, our referee in charge is Stephen Miyamoto.
All right, guys, we went over the rules in the back. We got a nice clean fight. I my commands at all times. No questions. Touch gloves. Come on, fight. And have a good fight.
One thing for sure, Dave Moreno knows where the camera is.
There's no doubt about it. He likes his airtime.
As we get ready now for what is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Round 1 coming up. 2 very confident fighters coming into this. And we'll see how it plays out.
David Padilla, a freestyle fighter. We will see a little bit of everything from him. And Dave Moreno, another one of BJ Penn's students, and the fight goes directly to the mat.
And Moreno quickly is working around the neck area, at least an indication perhaps of things to come. He's showing Padilla, shoot in on me one more time, and if you go down, be prepared for me to fight out of my guard. And now Moreno slams him down.
Nice takedown that'll score some points as he works from the side. And lands with a solid knee to the body.
2 good knees in there in the early going of this fight.
Dave Moreno, the former airborne ranger. That's where he says he learned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When he's not in the ring, Kenny, he builds houses.
28-year-old from Hawaii, coming in with a 4-2-1 record. 33-year-old Padilla, a record of 6-10.
Moreno landing the knees to the ribs, working the side mount to perfection.
And again, this is a fight where you figure Moreno keeps it on the ground, he's going to be in good shape, or at least better shape than Padilla with his freestyle approach to fighting. And now he moves high up into the mount, does Moreno.
You're right, and throwing some elbows and goes to work with some ground and pound.
And Moreno again, oh, that's not good. Padilla turns his back and he sets himself up perhaps.
In a lot of trouble.
Moreno moving in, he's got a choke going. Is he going to get it in there enough? Look at that right arm. He's working the rear naked choke here. Miyamoto is looking at the taps. That's it. Moreno wins it.
Dirty Dave Moreno. Oh, yeah. You know he knows where that camera is. Take a look at it. Moreno, just great takedown there. Looked like Ray Lewis. And then gets the elbow in and goes to work with some solid ground and pound. And then here sinks the rear naked choke in. A bloody Dave Padilla finally says that's it, taps out. And Moreno gets the win very quickly.
Moreno picking up his 5th professional win. And for Padilla, he was just overwhelmed here in this first round by Dirty Dave Moreno. You see Bruce getting back in the ring. We'll get the official time of this rear naked choke here in the first round.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Stephen Miyamoto has called a stop to this contest at the very end of the first round due to a tap out from a rear naked choke, declaring the winner, Dirty Dave Moreno.
Dave Moreno really dominated this fight from the opening bell, showed some impressive ground and pound, and then finished it with a great rear naked choke. Kenny, I think we're going to hear a lot from Dave Moreno in the future.
Coming up, a fight that we expect will be evenly matched. Sarmiento and Martinez getting ready to go into the ring when we come back with more X1 Extreme Fighting here on Friday Fight Night on HDNET.
You're watching Friday Fight Night on HDNET.
Welcome back. You're watching X1 Extreme Fighting here on HDNET, coming to you from Hawaii. We've had action in 2 fights so far, and as we get ready for the lightweights, Harris Sarmiento against Henry Martinez. Ron, you can always say on paper this looks like a very balanced, intriguing matchup, but this one really does, no matter how many ways you look at it.
Without a doubt, I'm looking forward to this fight because this could be an all-out war. Sarmiento is a tough veteran fighter with incredible kickboxing ability. If you're not watching for high kicks, you may find yourself going to sleep on the mat very early. He has hit some hard times of late, losing 5 of his last 6 fights, but his defeats came at the hands of some talented opponents, including Razor Rob McCullough and Gilbert Melendez. Henry Martinez is just beginning his MMA career, but is not new to competition. He was a wrestler at the University of Oklahoma, so he will be looking to get this fight to the mat as soon as possible. It's an intriguing matchup between a seasoned veteran and a young fighter just beginning his career.
And don't you love those contrasting styles? Who's going to stand up, who's going to get it to the mat first?
Absolutely, that's what MMA is all about.
It's time now to take a look at our tale of the tape.
Harris Sarmiento, a veteran fighter, freestyle, and he loves to kickbox. Taking on Henry Martinez, new to the MMA world, but a solid wrestling background.
Well, you would think in a fight like this, for Sarmiento, this will be his 44th professional fight. For Martinez, his second
Professional, but Martinez was a Division I wrestler from the University of Oklahoma, so this kid knows competition. But does the wrestler know how to take a punch to the face? It's always your first test for a wrestler coming into the MMA world. We know he's comfortable on the ground, but can he take a shot?
Well, we certainly know there's going to be a contrast in style here. Martinez, as you mentioned, Ron, that standout wrestler. Sarmiento, all that experience, including being a kickbox champ, a Rumble on the Rock champ, and an ISBL champ.
He has fought some solid fighters, and there you see Martinez right away going for the single leg takedown, but Sarmiento showing some solid takedown defense.
Sarmiento just out-muscles him, gets right back up, gets an underhook in there, and tries to go with a knee.
And now Sarmiento goes for the takedown, but ends up on the bottom.
Martinez quick on there.
A veteran fighter, Sarmiento is used to fighting from his back. He is comfortable in this position. Let's see what Martinez can do from the mount. And look at how slick of a move that was by Sarmiento, getting out of it and reversing the position.
Sarmiento is manhandling the younger fighter Martinez here.
Martinez trying for a guillotine around the neck. Doesn't look like he has it, and Sarmiento takes him to the ground, working the neck, but I don't think it's locked in. It's a bad position.
Sarmiento, as you see, Stephen Miyamoto, the referee, closely looking on at the 130 mark here in the first round.
This might be a little tighter than I first thought, but Sarmiento, as a veteran fighter, is not panicking and letting Martinez use up some energy, and you can see he doesn't have that guillotine locked in.
Martinez spending a lot of time and energy here trying to get the guillotine in, and Sarmiento, well, you can see by the position here, Ronnie, is still moving forward in there. He's not without some kind of defense here, although it's, well, you see him trying to throw a punch there as well right now.
And a lot of times these young fighters will go to work like this on a guillotine or an armbar and use a lot of their energy, and you see Sarmiento pops out, and this fight is back up on its feet.
Sarmiento escaping from the guillotine attempt of Martinez, and Sarmiento, very quick fighter. You know, they're both only 23 years old. Hard to believe with Sarmiento having so much more experience than Martinez.
23 years old and 43 fights. You see Martinez trying to get Sarmiento to the ground, but he is slick. He knows, he has seen it all and done it all. And now tries to work some strikes into the repertoire.
We'll see if Martinez, fighting from a southpaw stance, has any punching game as he goes in. Does get a takedown, though. That's impressive as round one is coming to a close.
Nice takedown by Martinez, showing his strength.
Well, Martinez putting up a good fight here in the first round against a much more experienced pro in Harris, the hitman, Sarmiento.
We take a look at some of the action here in the first round. Martinez on top from the mount, but look at this impressive escape from Sarmiento from a full mount, and then he reverses it and he takes position. And now Martinez trying for the guillotine. Sarmiento takes him down to the mat, and it looks like he had it locked in, but Sarmiento was able to survive it. Just very impressive escapability by Sarmiento and power. Martinez, a strong guy, couldn't get the takedown there. Sarmiento is very slick.
As you get a good look there at the 23-year-old from Santa Fe, New Mexico, Henry Martinez. He used a lot of energy there in the first round. It'll be interesting to see how that round was scored.
A lot of energy, but a lot of action, too, on the mat, and that's where Martinez wants this. Will be interesting to see if Sarmiento tries to keep this fight standing. Begins to go to work with some high kicks. We haven't seen that. Oh, nice solid strike there from Sarmiento.
Sarmiento able to get the right in and shooting in and missing everything there was Martinez in what was a close first round. How will they do here in the second round? Again, Sarmiento has an answer for everything that Martinez is throwing at him, with the exception being the takedown late in the first round.
Low kick by Sarmiento. I wonder if that's going to be the game plan here in the second. I'm impressed so far by Henry Martinez, though. The kid looks very composed in the ring.
Coming out of that strong wrestling program at the University of Oklahoma and wrestling in the Big 12 Conference. No doubt paying off some here We're seeing that left-handed stance. He flicks out a jab there. Maybe he does have a little bit of a punching game.
Hasn't really taken that solid strike yet. We'll see if Sarmiento can land one as he goes to work on the body. We'll see how Martinez reacts from that. Oh, nice jab again by Sarmiento. It looks like he's kind of measuring him up at this point, Kenny. The fight's pretty much on its feet here in the second.
Well, one thing with the southpaw going against the orthodox style, if that southpaw's not quick, being Martinez, he might eat one of those rights here from Sarmiento.
Oh, and that one got through. Martinez able to shake it off. Just measuring him up right now is Sarmiento. Look out for a big bomb.
Oh! There it is, and he's down. Sarmiento has knocked down Martinez, and now he comes in and starts pounding.
Solid shot by Sarmiento. Knocks Martinez to the ground, but he's back up, able to keep his composure. We'll see if he can hold on here in the second.
What an effort by Martinez. I mean, he took a blow from Sarmiento, and when he was down, took a couple of shots, but he bounces right back.
155 pounds, and Martinez is rock solid.
Sarmiento again, Ron, as you mentioned, he gets a kick in there. Now here coming back for the first time with a kick of his own is Martinez. He still has to be careful from that right.
But it looks like Martinez has shaken that big right off and kept his composure.
See a little blood there around the nose area naturally after catching that punch from Sarmiento.
I'm a little surprised Sarmiento hasn't thrown more kicks at this point.
I think that was more of a slip there as Martinez ducked under, is trying to shoot through under 10 seconds to go here in this second round. Close first round, an edge here to Sarmiento, getting the knockdown in the second round, we would guess, as round two comes to an end.
Very entertaining round. I'm impressed with Henry Martinez, able to shake off that jab, and then the huge right from Sarmiento that knocked him down right there on the button. And then once it got down, oh, just a quick shot. Boom. How you like me now? And then Sarmiento follows it up with some quick, short, sharp shots that scored a lot of points. But give the kid Martinez some credit, keeping his posture and hanging in there.
From the experienced Sarmiento, again, reminding you, these are both 23-year-olds, but Sarmiento is in his 44th pro fight. This is just the second for Henry Martinez. As you look at the hitman, Harris Sarmiento.
Very active fighter, but has hit a few bumps in the road. He has lost 5 of his last 6 fights. This is an important bout for him to get back on the winning track.
Sarmiento's been fighting some good ones lately. Nick Diaz, Josh Thompson along the way.
Impressive.
And here we come out for the third and final round.
When you have 43 total fights, Kenny, you're not ducking anyone.
Sarmiento, will he be able to get in another right, or will Martinez, the southpaw here, flick that jab out a little more and try to keep that away?
I don't think Martinez wants to have another round like the second. I expect him to shoot in and try to take Sarmiento back to the mat where he's more comfortable.
Again, Martinez, the wrestler out of the University of Oklahoma, his strength would be to get it on the ground. He shoots in, and
but
look at Sarmiento get away.
He did shoot in, but paid for it with a low kick. And again, how slick was that? Sarmiento just slips away.
Sarmiento doing damage and getting away. Insult to injury. Under 2 minutes to go in this fight.
Nice little exchange there. Again, Martinez impressing me. He seems comfortable standing up for a guy with such a strong wrestling background.
Sarmiento again with the right. Not as potent as the one we saw in the second round, but it stuns a little bit and scores big. And again, look at him look at the footwork of Sarmiento. He gets away from Martinez again.
At this point, though, those strikes are beginning to connect, and Sarmiento is really putting on a punching clinic at this point, teaching the young Martinez a little something about the stand-up fight game.
Very close first round. Sarmiento getting that big knockdown in the second round. You would figure at this stage, Martinez, if he has a punch, this would be the good time to throw it as we come to the 1 minute mark left in this fight.
With being under a minute, taking it to the ground, if Martinez tries that and shoots in, he needs to go to work very quickly. At this point, he almost has a better shot of just keeping it standing up and dropping a big bomb.
Again, shows kick to no avail to Sarmiento.
Sarmiento in control right now. A veteran fighter knows that he's probably ahead and doesn't want to do anything stupid now.
And again, he comes in with combinations, scoring just enough with his punches and able to keep Martinez from getting in closer.
Oh, just misses. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of those high kicks from Sarmiento. That one almost landed.
Very few high kicks. That was like only the second one of the night for a guy who's been a kickboxing champion. 5 seconds to go in this fight. And again, Sarmiento won maybe for good measure as this one comes to an end.
Nice exchange to end this fight. And for a kid with a record of 1-0, Henry Martinez put on quite a performance tonight. Showed that he could take a punch. A lot of wrestlers never get hit, so you don't know how they're going to react. Here again, he goes for the takedown, but Sarmiento too quick. Nice takedown defense, gets out. And then the quick jab, the right landed all fight long for Sarmiento. Boom. Scoring points. Really connecting with every punch that he threw.
And as Henry Martinez comes back now to the center of the ring, let's go back up to Bruce now with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Harris Sarmiento.
Sarmiento picks up the victory, but it was a tough fight. Henry Martinez may not feel this way now, but for the young man who is certainly an up-and-comer in MMA, he had a good effort against a veteran fighter, even in a loss.
Absolutely. A very technically sound fight by both of these fighters. Martinez almost put Sarmiento away with a guillotine choke, but couldn't finish it. And then Sarmiento came back strong, especially with the knockdown in the second round. I think that explosive right stuck in the judge's mind and probably earned Sarmiento the hard-fought victory.
That was a dandy, as we expected. And coming up, we have the X-1 World Lightweight Championship up for grabs. Koka making his defense against Nelson. Stay with us. You're watching Friday Fight Night here on HDNET.
You're watching Friday Fight Night on HDNET.
Welcome back. You're watching X1 Extreme Fighting from Hawaii here on HDNET, part of our Friday Fight Night. Certainly everyone loves it when a title is up for grabs. Well, we're going to see a championship be decided. Kolo Koka is making his title defense against Sugar Shane Nelson, Ron.
Kenny, Kolo Koka is the current X1 World Lightweight Champion and a guy that just loves to fight. He is coming off a loss to Jason Dent, so he's looking to erase that memory. Nothing has come easy for Koka. He has had many ups and downs in his career. He will have his hands full tonight when he takes on ground specialist and another one of BJ Penn's students, Sugar Shane Nelson. Nelson has been training with Penn for 5 years. I expect Nelson to try and take down Koka, who is much more comfortable on his feet. The X1 World Lightweight Championship is on the line.
It's been a good night so far for the BJ Penn students. Will one of them be able to take the title away from a very popular fighter on the islands in Koka, as we take a look now at the tail of the tape.
Kolo Koka, the current X1 World Lightweight Champion, comes in with a 15-6 record. Sugar Shane Nelson, a jiu-jitsu specialist, and I know this sounds repetitive, but another fighter training with BJ Penn.
Let's go to Bruce Buffer with the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this championship bout is sponsored by Spray Liner. And now, 3 5-minute rounds for the X1 World Events Lightweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, a jiu-jitsu fighter who holds a professional record of 7 wins with 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 156 pounds. Fighting out of Hilo, Hawaii, Sugar Shane Nelson. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record of 15 wins with 6 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 156 pounds. Fighting out of Kailua, Hawaii, he is the X-1 World Events Lightweight Champion, Kolo Koka. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Stephen Miyamoto.
Well, this is it, the title up for grabs. Koka on the left, defending his title against Nelson. 8 years apart in age, 2 Hawaiians. 2 very aggressive, talented fighters as we get ready for round 1.
Shane Nelson is a ground specialist who neutralizes his opponent's stand-up game. We'll see if that's his strategy coming into this fight, as we are set to go.
And with this being a championship fight, 5-minute rounds in this one. And moving in quickly and getting the takedown here in the early going of the fight is Sugar Shane Nelson.
Shane Nelson working from the full mount. He will want to keep this fight on the ground. Lands with the right there. But Kolo Koka, he's used to fighting from this position, and he's comfortable fighting from the ground and his back.
Let's take a look at Koka here. He's trying to work something, maybe a Kimura possibly on the left arm here of Shane Nelson, as you see him now stretching that arm out. Which Shane Nelson had played into Koka's hands in the early going.
And it doesn't look like he has it, but he is working the arm.
As you see Nelson moving more over to the side, trying to get some position.
We'll see if the referee stops this at this point, because Koka is pretty much hanging outside the ring. But there's still action going.
Stephen Miyamoto right there on top of things, literally, as you can see.
There you go. We'll move him to the center and restart him.
Koka appears that he thinks that he was working that arm bar or the Kimura a little better than perhaps he was, and now they're back up swinging and going back to the ground, trying to, is Nelson. Koka showing a defense for it this time. Sprawling out again and going actually through the ropes and off the apron almost.
Nice takedown defense by Koka. And I have to say, I'm a little surprised too. There was more action going on the ground that they didn't restart them in the middle of the ring in the same position. They restarted them standing up.
And a nice kick by Nelson. And now moving in, trying for a guillotine is Kolo Koka, and turning right around on him is Nelson. Is Nelson going to be able to get a rear naked choke?
Great aggressive move by Nelson to be able to take him down. Now he's trying to work that rear naked choke in.
He's got a lot of work to do now from this angle.
Yes, he does.
As you see Koka pushing it away. Koka 15-6 coming into this. Nelson 7-3. Approaching the 2-minute mark here in round 1. 5-minute rounds for this championship fight.
So far in this first round, Kenny, Sugar Shane Nelson being very aggressive, controlling the fight, taking it to the ground. We're seeing a little bit of everything. He was working the arm earlier, and due to inactivity on the ground, we'll stand him up. I like it.
I do too. You appreciate great grappling, but when nothing else is going on, get back up and see now, especially for Koka, he would have to love this, you would think.
Definitely plays in his benefit as a freestyle fighter.
Nelson showing southpaw striking style. Basically, he wants to get back on the ground, I would take a guess here.
Nelson just misses with a nice right.
And Koka with the defense as Nelson was trying to shoot in.
Koka's a veteran fighter. He's gone against jiu-jitsu specialists before. You see Nelson trying to get the fight to the ground, but just like that, Koka reverses it, and he's got mount position.
Both these men from Hawaii. I don't know if you could flip a coin as to who the favorite is, but probably I'm guessing Koka. He has been a local hero, a fighter in MMA since MMA came to the U.S.
You're exactly right, and as the X-1 lightweight champion, he has a strong following here. So he's trying to land some strikes. But Shane Nelson showing some nice defense, hanging on and not landing any of those shots from Koka really score any points.
Very aggressive first round. It's tough to call this one. Every punch might count, and trying to get a few of those in as Koka as we come to the end of round one. That's it.
Very entertaining first round. Stand up, on the ground. We saw a little bit of everything from both of these fighters. But I have to say, Sugar Shane Nelson controlled this fight. Here he shoots in and gets a nice takedown, which scores some points. And then the high kick lands, and then right away goes for the takedown.
And as you see here, Nelson, early on, he was going to try to go for the guillotine, but from this angle, you see, Koka had that pretty much covered.
Hard first round to score.
We get ready for the second 5-minute round here in this, the X1 World Lightweight Championship.
Sugar Shane Nelson, 7-3. And all these guys that are out of BJ Penn's MMA school are really benefiting and learning how to become Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialists.
Nice leg kick there again by Nelson. That's what he's tried to do in the first, and he did that with efficiency and effectiveness most of the time. And again, trying to get it on the ground, and there is Koka once again right against the ropes. Now he turns it around. Trying for the single leg.
And Shane Nelson trying to work the guillotine as Koka goes for the takedown. There's a lot of ink between these two fighters. I think in between rounds they even got a tattoo done. I'm not sure.
Well, you wonder if one of them got one that said champ.
That might be a little premature, but so far a very entertaining fight.
Overheard a little bit of the Koka corner saying, try to work inside more. Try to get a few punches in perhaps. Strike a little bit when they're in the clinch like this, if there is a chance.
Both fighters might be a little tired at this point. They were very aggressive in that first round. And they're just working from the clinch. This is where you need to do a little dirty boxing, Kenny. This is where you need to throw some forearms, work the shoulders, whatever you can to start to really be aggressive and go at your opponent. Easy for me to say, right?
Well, you would think, though, at this stage, someone is, and there you see, as if on cue, Ron, Koka trying to throw a few punches in there.
Now, Nelson should go to work on the thigh, drop some knees, because those will begin to take their toll.
These guys have been going at it now for 7 minutes. And going down is Koka. Nelson getting the takedown.
And not an easy takedown at all. Koka showing some great defense there, but Nelson sticking with it and then finally getting Koka to the mat. Now this is where Nelson needs to go to work. We'll see what he can do from this position.
Nelson with less experience, but he does have 8 years of youth advantage on his side. We will see if that holds up as this fight progresses. And he is considered the stronger of the ground fighters here.
Koka hanging on and not letting Nelson really do much damage. Trying to land some shots with the left. Nothing really getting through, and that's what he needs to do. Start to work the forearm in there.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the second round. Kolo Koka trying to hold on to his X-1 World Lightweight belt.
Very technically sound fight from both of these guys at this point. And I like what Shane Nelson is doing. Although Koka has got his right arm, he's still working, being aggressive with the left, striking and using the forearm.
Except for about 10 seconds of the first round when the referee stood them back up. This has been, as you mentioned, Ron, a very active attack on the part of both fighters, offense and defense, when they've been on the mat.
And Nelson being on top and at least trying to land and be aggressive. The judges will remember that if this goes the distance.
Under a minute to go here in the second round. And they have gone all out in the ground game here for well over a minute. You wonder how many of those punches are landing from the fist of Shane Nelson. Trying to throw a few forearms now. That might be more effective in close.
Koka really, for the last couple minutes, has just been hanging on. Now he has shown some good defense, not allowing Nelson to get that right arm out and do a lot of damage. But Nelson is scoring points with some of those forearms getting through.
Under 20 seconds to go. Nelson continues to be dictating the tempo right now against the champ, Kolo Koka.
You wonder if Koka is just kind of hanging on here to get to the end of the round and letting Nelson tire himself out. Remember, these are 3 5-minute rounds.
They certainly will enjoy the break that they're going to get in just a few seconds.
Sugar Shane Nelson is really controlling the pace of this fight at this point. He has scored standing up, has been active on the ground, and really is taking it to Kolo Koka right now. As we take a look, some of the action just misses with the high kick there. And then from the guard is really going to work with the forearms. Some of those got through, scoring some points.
So you have to wonder now, what will the champ do? Kolo Koka, the reigning X1 light heavyweight champ. And you might have noticed, maybe sending a message to his younger opponent, 31-year-old Koka was the first to come out for this third round. He was out there in the center of the ring waiting on the 23-year-old Shane Nelson. Round 3 underway. The championship belt is on the line. And again, a kick there by Nelson. Not a lot of strength behind it, but again, he lets Koka know what could be there. And Koka now will try to work again around the neck area of Shane Nelson. No chance for a guillotine, it appears, in this position, but we'll see what this veteran fighter has left in his bag of tricks with 4:20 to go in the fight.
Nelson has really been doing the same thing for all 3 rounds. He'll try a strike or a high kick, and then he'll shoot in, and then he'll just kind of hang there with Koka. If he can get him to the ground, Koka throws a couple knees. That's what Koka needs to do. He needs to throw knees, he needs to strike, foot stomp right there. That always works. That gains the attention of the judges. But he's got to pull out a little bit of everything from the arsenal and score some points.
Kolo Koka, perhaps his corner, sensing that this was a very important round if he is to keep the title, because he has come out more aggressively here in the third than he did in the first 10 minutes of this fight, and now getting reverse here is Shane Nelson, who will work from top.
Right back on top. And Koka has not done much from this position, fighting from his back. Nelson really hasn't tried too many armbar attempts. but been really just hanging there, landing with some forearms, throwing a couple elbows and some short jabs, working the body of Koka. And really, Sugar Shane Nelson knows he's in control of this fight and really would be in this position the rest of the round. There's a shot that lands.
Meanwhile, Koka a few times attempts at Kimuras in these situations, because these situations have become familiar with him throughout this fight.
He's attempted the Kimura, but it really hasn't really been a threatening attempt.
Not huge punches, but they continue to land with consistency, and they have added up over the course of the fight for Sugar Shane Nelson.
You wonder at this point, although Nelson is still being aggressive, if the referee will stand him up.
Steve Miyamoto there on the right of the screen, the referee, looking intently. And you would wonder, especially with this being a title fight, we're approaching 2 minutes right now. Certainly not much at all from Koka.
No.
Nelson's punches are not as effective, at least they do not appear as effective at this stage.
But at this point, he doesn't have to be that effective, Kenny. He knows that he's in control of this fight. And if Koka just wants to hang there and do nothing on his back, I mean, Sugar Shane Nelson will oblige. Sure, I'll lay on top of you, throw a couple shots, and I'll win this fight and take your belt.
Ron, as you said, we would have to guess in agreement here that the first 2 rounds went to the challenger, Shane Nelson. What's left for the champ? Not much if he continues to stay in this position with 1:15 to go. And Koka, I don't know what he can do from this position. He has not been that effective in his guard in this fight against Nelson.
He needs to pull something out and pull it out quickly. Now finally the referee stands him up, but it's too late. We're under a minute. This is desperation time for Kolo Koka.
Koka trying to hold on to his X-1 World Lightweight Championship belt. He has 40 seconds to do something big.
I'm a little surprised. It looks like Koka has just been fatigued, letting Shane Nelson take the fight to him. And finally, Koka gets top position. Let's see what he can do.
Koka going to work. A sense of urgency with 20 seconds to go, and the title may be just out of his grasp. He may be losing this fight, and it looks like he knows that. 10 seconds to go in this lightweight championship.
Going to work with the ground and pound. Shane Nelson just holding on at this point. He knows he's got to make it through the round, and he does. And this fight could be Shane Nelson's, but when it goes to the judges, you never know. Take a look at another high kick from Nelson that landed, scored a point, and then Koka going to work with the old foot stomps. Yeah, that'll leave a mark. You're going to feel that tomorrow. But in my opinion, Koka had to be the busier fighter here in the 3rd round. And as you're looking at a little ground and pound here, I think it was a little too late.
You look at Kolo Koka, he is a true mixed martial arts legend in Hawaii. Has been in the early going of this. As you mentioned, Ron, he's had some big fights. He is the X-1 World Lightweight Champ at the moment. It's in the hands of the referees, of the judges. The referee calls him to the center of the ring. Here's Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. Our first judge scores it 27-24. Next judge scores it 29-28. And our last judge scores it 29-28 for the winner. And now the new X-1 World Events Lightweight Champion, Sugar Shane Nelson.
With the win by yet another BJ Penn student, they are 3 for 3 on the night. And this victory gives Sugar Shane Nelson the X-1 World Lightweight Championship.
Well, Kolo Koka did not hold that title for too long, just over a year, but give Sugar Shane Nelson a lot of credit. He executed his game plan to perfection, taking the fight down to the ground throughout. But he also scored some points standing up and fighting from the guard. This was a very impressive win for the 23-year-old from Hilo, Hawaii.
Well, we go now from the lightweights to our main event. Get ready, the big guys are coming into the ring. It is Correira against Marez when we come back to more X1 Extreme Fighting from Hawaii here on HDNET.
You're watching Friday Fight Night on HDNET.
Welcome back. You're watching X1 Extreme Fighting from Hawaii here on HDNET. Kenny Rice and Ron Kruk as we get ready for our main event. And this is a big fight, literally, between Wesley Correira going in the ring against Marez.
Yeah, you said it. Cabbage Correira is actually sick and tired of fighting massive opponents. He says that this will be the last time that he fights as a super heavyweight and ultimately would like to get down to the light heavyweight division. He is a UFC veteran with ring experience against some of the sport's best. One thing to watch for in this fight is Cabbage's conditioning. He took this fight last minute and didn't have a lot of time to train. Since this is the main event, the fight will be 3 5-minute rounds. His opponent, Chris Monster Marez from San Antonio, Texas, is a corrections officer when he's not in the ring. He just started training full-time this year and has a nice opportunity to get a win over a well-known, established fighter. Both of these guys, Kenny, love to throw bombs and will stand. I expect most of this fight to be done standing up because if both of them go down to the mat, they might not be able to get back up.
You're right on that, and I like what you said about Marez. This is a very establishing kind of fight for him. We will see if Correira, with that reputation he has, with the experience he has, if that will offset the fact that he is not in the top shape coming into this fight. As we take a look at the tail of the tape.
Hawaiian brawler Wesley Cabbage Correira enters this fight with a 23-8 record. He is a boxing and jiu-jitsu specialist taking on Christopher Monster Marez, just starting his MMA career with a record of 3-1. His fighting style is Vale Tudo, or anything goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event of the evening. Sponsored by HDNET, this fight consists of 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Vale Tudo fighter who holds a professional record of 3 wins with 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 275 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, Christopher Monster Marez. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a boxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. He holds a professional record of 23 wins with 8 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 281 pounds. Fighting out of Hilo, Hawaii, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hawaii's own Wesley Cabbage Correira. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is George the Red Atkins.
Clearly both men dwarfing the referee here.
Dwarfing most people, Kenny.
As you take a look at Cabbage, will he be able to come in on short notice? Will that experience pay off? Will these guys be able to go 15 minutes? It's scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And those are big guys, 540 pounds total in the ring right now.
Expect this fight to be fought standing up, and both of these fighters throwing bombs. What you're seeing right now, you will probably see throughout this fight, or until somebody lands and knocks someone out.
We expect them to stand and bang, and you wonder how long they can keep it up.
Now, Cabbage Correira, he will stand and exchange shots, but he's pretty quick. He's got some speed in his hands, and he's got very heavy hands, too. If he can work the jab and surprise Marez, that might be the way that really starts the beginning of the end for Marez, because Correira's got some power behind those shots. And nice jabs by Marez. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Marez fights his way out of that corner. And again, he swings, and that's a lot of punches being thrown here in the early going now as they pick up the pace a bit.
Marez just beginning
Good
his,
uppercuts.
yeah, absolutely, just beginning his MMA career. Began training full-time just about 3 months ago, Kenny. He was a corrections officer in San Antonio, so who knows, maybe this is a vacation being in the X-1 ring for him.
You would think he doesn't have to tell them twice. As you look at the 31-year-old Marez there in the dark trunks. Got a good knee in, out of the clinch. Correira able to give him one of those I'm still here punches.
Correira with the low kick. If he keeps going to work on the legs of Marez, that slows down a fighter and opens things up for those who are landing the low kicks.
Both men capable of throwing huge punches. They measure each other off here. You see that jab, a slight height and reach advantage for Marez. Will he be able to do any damage with that as once again he's backed into the corner? Had to fight his way out of there earlier in this as Correira continues to try to cut off the ring.
Well, that's not where he wants to be, stuck in that corner. And now he's
holding his eye. I don't know if he got hit in the eye.
And it looks like he did, Kenny. We're going to have a timeout here, as Marez might have caught a thumb in the eye from Cabbage Correira.
George Redakin, the referee, moving in. As you take a look, it looks like it is the right eye of Marez. Apparently, Ron, he was poked in the eye. It looked like an inadvertent finger that got in the eye instead of a punch as action resumes.
Definitely was. It might have caught him, but he's shaking it off. We're back to action, pretty much picking up right where we left off. The big men just measuring each other up.
You would figure in this, one big punch, and Marez just missed with one. One big punch could end this fight.
Yeah, don't blink, because you're right. One of those big meat hooks lands, this fight could be over quickly. And now it looks like Correira got one in the eye.
It looks like he's possibly his right eye is.
This is the epitome of an eye for an eye.
Indeed it is. George Adkin double checking now with Correira. He said something to Marez. And again, it looks like that was more of a poke in the eye rather than a punch.
I agree with that. I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was just slipped up and he caught the thumb. But already 2 timeouts here in the first round.
As Correira has time to regroup, you take a look at the man who has UFC experience. He's fought, among others, Tank Abbott in the UFC.
One of the greatest comments of all time when reporter asked Cabbage Correira how he's able to take a shot. He said, because my head is full of, quote, concrete and stuff. Wow.
Trying to get inside there with jabs right now at that head is Marez, who continues to flick out that left. Correira able to avoid those. Oh, another big swing and a miss, and that is like a swing and a miss. That one bomb is what Marez has looked for. He has missed twice here in the first round, under a minute to go.
But I like what Marez was doing there. He missed, and then in the clinch goes for the knee to the gut. I felt the breeze over here from that haymaker he threw.
And again, some knees coming from Marez as they break the clinch. 30 seconds to go.
Correira again taking this fight very late. We'll see how he does as this fight goes longer, how his cardio is. A nice, solid shots by Marez landed. Another.
Marez is not afraid to throw the punches. You saw him earlier. He missed with that left hook, then tried to come right out of it with a left jab. Able to get a shot in here. Marez has landed more punches in this first round against Correira as we near the end of round one, and those are the first 5 minutes, and Correira got a punch in right before the horn. Or Marez got a punch in right before the horn, as you see Correira going back to his corner. And Marez, maybe a mental game here. He's standing after 5 minutes.
There you go. We take a look at some of the highlights, and there, 2 solid shots land by Marez. Correira comes back, but not a lot of those are getting through, causing damage. Both guys doing exactly what we thought we'd see, Kenny. Standing and throwing punches, and there you see, inadvertently, his glove got in the eye of Wesley Correira. I don't think he meant to do that. Well, Marez said he was always a fan watching Cabbage Correira growing up and watching him in the UFC. He's one of his favorite fighters, has a lot of respect for him. And now here he is in the ring, fighting it out.
As round two begins, interesting also, Ron, Correira is actually 3 years younger than Marez.
Yeah.
But Correira coming into this is his 31st pro fight, 32nd pro fight.
High kick attempt by Correira. It looked like Marez was able to block it.
I'm impressed that these two guys, too, as we talked about, big men, 275-pound Marez, 265-pound Correira. They are not showing signs of slowing down here as we go into this second round.
You're exactly right. They both are moving forward, both continuing to throw jabs and working in some low kicks. I've seen Cabbage Correira be very aggressive in fights. He's pretty quick on his feet. You wonder, hey, maybe he'll try for a takedown.
Marez goes with a low kick, maybe trying to chop down a big tree here. And there's an overhead right that landed to the side of the skull of Correira.
Luckily, it's full of concrete, apparently.
As he said.
That was not my quote, Wesley. That was yours, buddy.
Well, Wesley Cabbage Correira did not even flinch when he took that.
Yeah. This guy, he has taken some shots before. Now things slowing down a little bit.
Well, you just wonder, two big guys, and again, we emphasize Correira took this on short notice as he gets some punches in, and fighting his way out of the corner again is Marez. And Marez again, look at that jab. He continues with the jab, able to follow it up with effectiveness in the first round.
Correira throwing some leather, but Marez was able to block a lot of those shots and then counter with, like you said, Kenny, the jab, and those got through and scored some points. Again, you see he's keeping his hands up and blocking those shots. A nice right landed by Marez.
Marez certainly has been the one that has thrown the bigger punches in terms not always of landing, but taking that one punch and let's end this shot. Hasn't been able to get one in yet. These guys seem to be comfortable right now going to the corners like this, getting in a clinch, getting a little breather because they continue to swing away. As they move back out to the center of the ring, let's see if they can keep it up.
Oh.
Well, there's Marez doing his share.
And I don't know if it looks this way to you, Kenny, but Cabbage Correira looks fatigued right now. He's moving forward, but there's not a lot of power behind those punches, where Marez is just kind of hanging back. And
there's a
nice
good right.
Solid right.
Marez again scoring. And as you mentioned, Ron, Marez has not taken a lot in return from Correira.
Right, he's had some nice defense, has blocked a lot of shots, and this is smart. Marez should start to work that body. If Cabbage Correira is fatigued and a little bit gassed out, no better way to really make him tired is by going to the body and really just going to town. You see we're back in the corner.
And there is one of the better punches landed by Correira. He's able to get the left in when he had Marez on the ropes. Marez at this stage, I would guess, would be comfortable to trade punches from the center of the ring. He has to be confident right now. He continues to get that jab. If it isn't scoring, it certainly is messing with Correira and any kind of rhythm he might find.
Confident, and he looks like he could go another round. He looks like he's ready for, for a 275-pound man. He doesn't look tired at all.
When they first came into the ring, I would have already lost the bet that this fight would still be going in the second round. 30 seconds to go.
I'm with you. And there, Correira does land with a left jab that got through, but right back at him is Marez.
Marez again tantalizingly close with that big right, but again not able to land. He's tried at least 4 or 5 times to get one in there. Final 10 seconds to go in round number 2. It appears that these two big guys will continue to battle on into the third and final round.
Cabbage Correira has not tried to take this fight to the ground. You see that high kick, how athletic he is. He can get those kicks through, but he's only tried that a few times. Here he's throwing some leather, but not getting anything through, and then Marez comes back and counters, landing with a couple of shots. The knees from Correira again. Doesn't want to stay in that corner, but that round was really, I have to give it to Marez. As you see, he lands with a right to the chin.
And he has landed, he's been more consistent with his punches. And probably the harder punches that have landed in this fight have come from Marez. As we go into our third round, the final round, it is scheduled for 5 minutes. Can they continue to hang in there? Both fighters, Marez especially, looking pretty fresh as he gets another right in.
2 solid rights there to start this third and final round, make it 3.
Another strong right. You could hear that one crack here in the Blaisdell Arena. But again, obviously, Cabbage Correira can take a punch or 2 or 3.
He can, but at this point, he needs to score some points. Monster Marez, I'm very impressed so far with this young fighter coming out here, really taking it to the veteran.
The Texan has come to Hawaii, and he is fighting one of the best fighters to ever come out of Hawaii, and Cabbage Correira from Hilo, Hawaii. As we mentioned, has fought in the UFC, has faced some very tough competition, and I guess that gave him the confidence on short notice to take this fight about a man who, with a fight against a man who weighs 275 pounds, 10 more pounds than Correira.
And I don't think the super heavyweight weight division is really where Cabbage Correira wants to be. Now, you cannot hold on to the ropes as you see Chris Marez is. He's got to be careful.
George Adkin right there, the referee saying let go of the rope, and now Marez does.
Correira finally trying for a takedown. I expected him to do this a little bit earlier, but that's a big man to try and take down.
It is. He's a lot of work there, and he goes through the ropes. So Chris, the Monster Marez, on the apron, now making his way back into the ring.
This might take a few minutes.
I was curious if he was actually going to try to leap over those ropes at first, as the referee had him parted for him. And now action resumes. They touch gloves, and Marez got a punch in as they touch gloves.
To me, Wesley Cabbage Correira looks very tired. He's throwing some punches, but there's nothing behind him. And maybe that's why he couldn't get Marez to the ground. He should have attempted to do that earlier in this fight. Now the two big men content to just hang out in the clinch.
You think earlier in this fight, Correira might have had an answer for that little sucker punch attempt by Marez.
You're right. Might have fired him up a little bit.
Marez again, he's done this throughout the fight. Whenever they're in the clinch, as soon as they break, he is swinging away though. And he's always tried with that big right that has not been able to get in yet. But he is still able to throw it here with 2:15 to go in this third round after they have already swung away for the first 2 rounds and now well into this third and final round.
And it seems Marez is just doing the same thing that he did in the earlier rounds, setting it up and then trying to land the big right. And Correira's moving forward, but he's just not doing anything once he gets there. I've seen him much more aggressive. I've seen him where he will connect with one of those high kicks, and he can end a fight like that. I'm wondering how much of a factor taking this fight so late is playing in this match.
I think, as you pointed out, even in the second round, the fatigue was setting in on Cabbage Correira. And right here again, he's taking a couple of more punches from Marez. Marez again stating his cause here in this final round. These guys have almost gone 14 minutes, and Marez is still able to be effective with his punches as we approach the 1-minute mark in this final round.
Marez still looking fresh, blocking any shots that Cabbage can throw. He really has some snap with that right that he's throwing and landing. I think Cabbage Correira is in a lot of trouble right now. If this goes to the judges, he is the hometown favorite, but he has not done anything, in my opinion, to warrant a win here tonight.
What has been impressive about Marez, what you've seen just a few minutes ago, that's what he's been doing throughout the fight. He's had little bursts where he's been effective with his punches. He has landed more punches, certainly thrown more punches in this fight than Correira.
Oh, and another right, same shot. Follows it up with a knee.
And again, and Correira has got to be feeling this. He is a tired man, only 10 seconds to go. What a surprise, they have made it through 15 minutes of fighting.
And finishing up strong, Kenny.
And Marez is still trying to get one more body punch in there. Chris the Monster Marez out of San Antonio, Texas.
Boom. Nothing crazy about it. Just a simple overhand right. And Correira's hands are down, and Marez just kept coming at it. And you can just see Correira's mouth is open. Nice solid shot that lands. Boom.
Marez, every time he was in the corner tonight, Ron, or when they were breaking out of a clinch, he was able to throw a punch or two. And here you see the attempt by Correira to take Marez down. Well, instead he pushed him through the ropes.
And you heard Cabbage Correira yell after that. He knew once that Marez fell through those ropes, he missed his opportunity to get that fight to the ground and gave Marez some time to regroup.
Two big men who fought valiantly. I thought Correira did a nice job considering the layoff and to take this on short notice, and maybe he underestimated how good Marez is. As you see, the two men embrace a lot of respect for each other after going the distance. Bruce Buffer has the judge's decision now to let us know who won the main event tonight here in Hawaii.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. Our 3 scores from the judges are as follows: 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Christopher Monster Marez.
It was a big victory.
Well put.
The biggest surprise perhaps between the two big men, the super heavyweights, they go the distance. Correira, questions about his endurance coming in. Ron, we've certainly seen him sharper, but he does stay around for the duration of this fight, but Marez comes away with the win.
3 5-minute rounds, that's asking a lot for 2 very large men to go at it, but this was a huge upset victory for Chris Marez. Not to take anything away from Marez, who landed cleaner and more frequent shots, but I was surprised at how fatigued and inactive Cabbage Correira was. Yes, he's a big man, but I have seen him much quicker and aggressive in fights. I think his decision to go down in weight divisions will be a wise one, and Kenny ultimately help his career.
And we may see more, or in this case, less, of Cabbage down the road as he moves down to heavyweight once again.
Good point.
And Marez, he made a statement. He came from San Antonio to Honolulu to win against an established fighter, and that's what he accomplished tonight. And we're glad that you could join us for the debut of X-1 Extreme Fighting from Hawaii here on HDNET. It has been a fun night. Thanks to our great crew and my partner Ron Kruk. I'm Kenny Rice. Thanks for watching Friday Fight Night here on HDNET.
I ain't trying to lose, no matter what side I choose.